Alright, so enter Katy Perry. Some people hate her, some people love her, but what I don't think anyone likes is when people get fake stories made about them, and then even worse when rich people try to actually promote those stories to make someone look bad, and that's definitely happened to Katy Perry right now, where she's definitely proof the media is paid off. Where this story starts off is Catholic nuns, where these were two of three Catholic nuns who were living in a 30,000 square foot mansion in Los Angeles that was bought by the Catholic Church in 1927 and was actually big enough to store about 60 people. And basically what happened was when the Catholic Church bought the property in 1927, LA wasn't that expensive, so building a castle there wasn't anything big, but then they realized they had this valuable asset and all the nuns who lived there passed away over a period of decades, so because of that there were just three left, so they decided they were going to put the nuns in an old folks home and then sell the property. So the mansion ended up getting sold for $14.5 million, and while a lot of people wanted to look at that saying, oh, Katy Perry's the devil, it was actually the Catholic Church that decided to kick out the nuns and sell to Katy Perry. What's crazy is the nuns didn't like the idea of selling the property to Katy Perry because they saw her music as the devil, and instead decided to sell it to Dana Hollister because she was offering them a much better deal at $15.5 million. Nuns were a lot more slick than they let on, where they felt because they lived there for 60 years, they were actually entitled to the money because they felt they were the owners, so they wanted to split the $15.5 million between them and not give it back to the church, and also Donna agreed to make a deal that they'd get to stay there for the next 5 years, and what they were going to do is give their money to their families after they passed away. There are all these articles out there saying Katy Perry's an awful person, she's kicking out nuns, but in all reality, the Catholic Church actually was kicking out the nuns, and the lawsuit was with Dana Hollister, who's a multimillionaire in herself, who was backing the nuns. It wasn't Katy Perry's only real estate issue, where after she got married to Orlando Bloom, she tried to buy another property in LA for $14 million, but then she ran into the issue of Carl Westcott. Carl Westcott's a multimillionaire. He started 1-800-Flowers, he's in his 80s, he also started another company that sold for $27 million, and the guy is rich as hell, and he sold that property to Katy Perry for $14 million. The problem was he sold it to Katy Perry after a surgery and he thought he was going to die, so he wanted to liquidate his assets so he had something to give to his family. But then he realized he wasn't going to die, and then he claimed that he was mentally incompetent when he sold to Katy Perry, so he tried to get out of the deal. The case is pretty straightforward, but then there's all these articles and news stories trashing Katy Perry, saying she's trying to kick an old veteran out of his house when they're not reporting the fact that he's worth tens of millions of dollars, was given $14 million in the deal, and he has unlimited amounts of money himself, so it's not like he's destitute. The reason the media painted Katy Perry in such a bad light both times is not because they hate Katy Perry, but it's because Dana Hollister and Carl Westcott paid the media to do stories like this, trashing Katy Perry. Personal example, years ago I interviewed Mark Cuban, and he said in the interview that buying Facebook stock was like buying tobacco stock, and I thought that was a good story, so I sent it to Forbes, and a dude who was a writer for Forbes said, okay, I'll run the story, give me $5,000. I also interviewed Jaleel White from Family Matters, who played Urkel, where he said that he was offered a chance to come back as Urkel in Fuller House but turned it down. I thought that was a great story. I went to the media, and again, they wanted to charge me $3,000 for it. Basically, every article that's not really big news is paid for. And with that, I'm Charles Prowl. Please subscribe to learn something.